First and foremost, I want to give all of the praises and glory to the Most High and His Son, Yahweh Bashmiah Shai Bashem Marakak Wadash, and double honors to the elder apostles of the great millstone that have taught me this truth. Through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashmiah Shai and Yahweh Bashmiah Shai Brakatham, to the overall elect, and this your brother Laban and Salakia for not making any videos for several days. And I will begin by speaking about, this actor, Hollywood actor, as we all grew up in knowing, Denzel Washington, which he, got baptized in a church. And I saw this the day before the news actually fully got out on the YouTube. And of course, I was thinking to myself, I'm going to definitely touch on this when I get the chance to. So this time is right, and I'm doing that. And there it is. So, just looking at the church itself that he was in, it had these white images of who they deem as as Jesus the Christ. And another thing which comes to my mind as well, right? I think that this is probably a setup because Jake has already left the church a long time ago, and even your average typical white American has done the same. So the Christian church has lost a lot of its members dramatically. And so what they're doing, and this is just me speculating in mind, is that they're using these celebrities to revive the Christian church. But you see, people are not so simple like they used to be because they got social media working with them, and you have alternative news outlets, and people have become alternative and independent minded more so now than he ever was before. So just because a celebrity that we all grew up on, right? And a lot of us that grew up watching Denzel, a lot of us are to realizing that the mainstream media is full of shit. And all of these people that have worked in tandem with the mainstream media is full of shit too, including Denzel Washington. I do like the guy. I like damn near all of his movies. But most of these Hollywood superstars that have made it are full of shit. So what I want to do is I want to get a scripture, and I want to read 2 Corinthians 4 and verse 3 to verse 4. But if our gospel be hid, it is hid to them that are lost, in whom the Most High of this world, or let me just read it verbatim, whom the God of this world have blinded the minds of them which believe not, lest the light of the glorious gospel of the anointed, who is the image of the Most High, should shine onto them. And yeah, I would also speculate that probably, Denzel Washington thinks that the Israelites are probably way out there crazy in his mind because, Jakes like Denzel, man, they stuck in their ways. They're stuck in their ways. And another thing I want to also say as well, maybe he's doing this because he grew up with his father being a pastor, because I did watch this documentary, and I found out that his father was a minister, probably of the Baptist church, I'm guessing. And so maybe he felt that he should do the same thing and retire from acting and, doing this instead, following his father's footsteps. I don't know. But I'm leaning towards my first thought, my first speculate. All right? Let's go back and read this again. In whom the God of this world have blinded the minds of them which believe not, lest the light of the glorious gospel of the anointed, who is the image of the Most High, should shine unto them. So there's this idea of who they call Jesus as the Christ, which has become a God, or a God of this world, which is a pseudo Jesus. As I think the Apostle Paul even mentioned that, as well as you had men that taught in a different Jesus or a different Christ, Salakia, right? So that's what these devils have given our people to believe in, another Christ that their forefathers going back thousands of years ago didn't even know about. Okay? And that's what our people are worshiping, and they don't see nothing wrong with it. And what's crazy is the fact that, you still have our people that go in these churches with these white pictures in them. As the elder apostle Tahar pointed out. But yet they'll think we're crazy though, right? Come on, man. Isaiah 8 and verse 14. And he shall be for a sanctuary, but for a stone of stumbling and for a rock of offense to both the houses of Israel, for a gin and for a snare to the inhabitants of Jerusalem. Let me go up and read. Yeah. Okay, and many among them shall stumble and fall and be broken and be snared and be taken. Now, just to go all the way down here, just to get to another point, because I just thought about it right here. This is Isaiah 8 and 20. To the law and to the testimony, if they speak not according to this word, it is because there is no light in them. And that's just the point, right? So Isaiah, the 8th chapter, is referring to the Lord hiding his face and him becoming a stumbling block against the multitude of Israel, which this still stands, because you have the multitude of our people that no matter how you present the word to them, no matter where you're at on the street, if they're not of the elect, if the Lord have blinded them, you ain't going to open their eyes up. There's nothing you can do. See, whatever the Most High does, is nothing that men can do about that. Ecclesiastes, what is it? 3 and verse 15. For whatever the Most High doeth, it is done forever. Right? So you ain't going to do shit about anything. If Jake can't get the word the way you expect him to get it, he ain't going to get it. So you got to be in the mindset of knowing who you're teaching this word to. And it's for the elect. Because that's the only people that's going to get it any doggone way. All right? That's the mentality that we have. We have the mentality of knowing that the only people that's going to receive this gospel are the elect. That's it. All right? It doesn't matter if it's a regular guy on the street. It doesn't matter if it's someone who is deemed as noble in the world. If they're not of the elect, they're not of the elect. And Denzel, lest he repent, as is looking very well so, that he's not of the elect. All right? And all of the rest of these pastors around him, none of them of the elect. Now, can things change? Yes, but it remains to be seen. 1 Corinthians 1 and verse 26, for you see your calling, brethren, how that not many wise men after the flesh, not many mighty and not many noble are called. For the Most High have chosen the foolish things of the world to confound the wise, and the Most High have chosen the weak things of the world to confound the things which are mighty. And base things of the world and things which are despised have the Most High chosen, yea, the things which are not, to bring to naught the things that are. And so that would then be men that are of low degree, that have never been able to make a name for themselves in this world. Men that are coming from low places is whom the Most High have chosen to distribute the gospel. So therefore he is magnified. And then therefore, as this reads, that no flesh should glory in his presence. And most of the brothers that are in this truth, for real, got things going on with them, man. They got issues. Most of us got issues. And the reason why we all got issues, and I was speaking with a fellow brother of mine about this as well. Don't need to go into detail what we was talking about, but basically we were speaking about this in a nutshell. All right. But just like I'm about to say, the reason why that's the case also is so that the Lord can get his glory. Okay. Because if we came in this truth with every single thing we, accomplished in the world, good health, you name it, then we would be glorying in our flesh. Or let me say it correctly, the flesh would then glory in itself rather than the Most High getting the glory. All right. And that's why the Most High didn't call people of higher degree in this thing. Now, you may have a very few people here and there that might come in this thing of high degree. But for the most part, the Lord ain't gonna call people like Denzel Washington. Like, picture Denzel Washington being in the camp holding the sign, or Floyd Mayweather, or let's just say Samuel Jackson. Like, he stood in the audience for a while. Right now, he's in the camp holding the camera. Like, they ain't gonna be doing that. They're not gonna spend a lengthy amount of time doing what we did. Oh, hell no. They're on the top of the world. And plus they would have already had too much pride to stoop that low. Just like it reads in the book of I think it's in the book of Matthew somewhere, man. It's in the New Testament where it talks about the young rich boy. And Yahushua spoke to him, saying to him, "Look, if you do this and you do that," and he said, I'm doing all of that already." So then Yahushua said, "Well, give up all of give up everything that you have and give it to the poor." And he was upset because he couldn't do that. Why? Because with riches, for one to receive those riches, you would have to work very hard for that. And something that you've worked hard for, you ain't gonna easily just give it up. And with that comes pride too. With great riches and great pride, it's gonna be hard to put off. So these people, they'll never ever come to the truth. Because if they have to come to the truth realistically, they would have to actually forsake all of their accolades, everything that they had built it up throughout the years, and all of the selling out that they did to be where they're at. They have to give at all. So it's no way that Denzel Washington, and let's just say hypothetically, Denzel knows the truth. He knows that he's an Israelite, right? He ain't gonna go down that route. He's not gonna do that. For one, he's an old bottle. That's number one. Number two, he's made too much of himself in his world. And I mean, a lot of us are old enough to remember when we were kids, right? I'm talking about, brothers that's in their 30s and their 40s, and even brothers in their 50s. They remember when Denzel first came out, man, and on the movie scene. He's been in Hollywood for years, since the late 1970s. We're talking about what 47 years. He's been on television for 47 years. That's a long time. I mean, like, even if you've done something for over 10 years, you can't untrain someone that's been doing something for 10 years. So just imagine if you've done something for almost pushing 50 years of your life. It's going to be hard to give up. All right. And he's going to be stuck in his ways. So he ain't nothing but an old bottle any doggone way. All right. And what he's been doing for years is doing what Esau told him to do, because he sold his soul a long time ago. Just to mention. Yeah, man. So I said what I had to sing on that. Let me read this again. So as this reads, "For ye see your calling, brethren, how that not many wise men after the flesh, and not many mighty, not many noble are called." And Denzel is considered a nobleman. Everybody loves Denzel Washington. Not just in America, but worldwide. There's people in the East that know about Denzel, that highly regard Denzel. So he's already made it. He's already noble in the eyes of people today. But the Most High have chosen the foolish things of the world to confound the wise, and the Most High have chosen the weak things of the world to confound the things which are. And that's the doings of the Lord right now. That's what he wants to do. He's choosing men of nothing, men that are coming from a low grade situation. Men that are ill in various different ways, so that he can receive the glory. The Lord. It's all about the Lord getting his glory, not us getting the glory because of the things that we've done. All right. So now I want to switch topics here, and I want to talk about this over here. And this is in or on ABC News, and what they're going to show is that America is losing its religion, and that's Christianity. The Judaic version of Christianity, the American Judaic version. So let's play this.
We often turn to religion in times of great joy, a birth, a communion, or perhaps a wedding, and also in times of suffering, a death, or national tragedy. But with each passing year, as fewer of us attend religious services regularly, we're losing our places of worship. Our Steve Osinsami has this report on how churches are coping with the changing times and what they're doing to try to keep their doors open.
These are prayerful days for the faithful who used to raise their hearts and minds to heaven and filled the pews in this house of God in Buffalo, New York. This is where neighborhood children learned to sing, where people were married and buried. And what hurts is that after more than a century of worship, this working class neighborhood on the other side of these stained glass windows is losing something they might miss. This was their final Mass at the All Saints Parish on a warm Sunday in July. And this was the few who came. As empty as it was still many more than they've seen at any service here in years. The priests are encouraging them to take comfort in Holy Scripture that says for everything there is a season and a time for every matter under heaven.
Yeah, and it's going to be about time for them to go down and go into slavery real soon. All right. So yeah, I mean, you've seen it. There's only a very few people, a very few heads of you seen inside that church. You don't see a bulk of people going inside these churches today, and that's why I think my first speculation is why they got Denzel in the church saying that he's going to be a Baptist minister, because what they trying to do, they trying to revive the Christian church, and they trying to get Jake back in the church once again. Just as in the news, you just heard that the guy said that people in the working class are no longer going into this church. I'm just saying it in my way, right? Because that's who they really need to go to these churches, the poor, so that they can keep the poor subdued. Because all of these churches, these 501c3 chartered major churches, are government-based churches. So the government needs to know, what the hell are you on? They control your religion. They need to they need to make sure that you're under their form of programming, which we can even, put religion in that as well. So if you have a lot of people that's not inside of these churches and they're not going towards mainstream media, now the government has an issue. Now the government cannot government no more, because people are no longer under the government's influences, whether it's to do with religion or whether it's to do with mainstream media. Okay? Let's read Ezekiel 34. In verse 1. And the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, Son of man, prophesy against the shepherds of Israel. Prophesy and say unto them, Thus saith the Lord power unto the shepherds. Woe be to the shepherds of Israel that do feed themselves, and should not the shepherds feed the flocks? Yea, eat the fat, and ye clothe with the wool. Ye kill them that are fed, but ye feed not the flock. Diseased have you not strengthened, and neither have you healed that which was sick, neither have you bound up that which was broken, neither have ye brought again that which was driven away, neither have ye sought that which was lost, but with the force and with cruelty have you ruled them. Right. And what does it mean that they didn't heal them? They didn't feed them properly, meaning they didn't give them the word. As it is written, that man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word which proceedeth out of the mouth of the Father. All right. In other words, they're not feeding them the true understanding of the gospel of Yahweh Shai. They're teaching them something different. They're quoting a few scriptures here and there, and then it's time for a song and dance and much more craziness that goes on in these churches. All right. So they're not feeding these people properly. And they were scattered because there is no shepherd, and they became meat to all of the beasts of the field. when they were scattered. And when you actually understand something, right? When you actually look into something, when you analyze where our people are at in the projects, there's like 3 to 4 various different churches on one block. And who's heading most of these churches? So-called black people that's heading these churches that are under false doctrine, that are teaching our people in false doctrine. So we came from that world, and the Most High delivered us out of that and delivered us to the right shepherds, those that are going to feed the sheep with real food, figuratively speaking, the true word, which is going to proceed from Yahweh Shai. My sheep wandered through all of the mountains and upon every hill, high hill. Yea, my flock was scattered upon all of the face of the earth, and none did search or seek after them. Therefore, ye shepherds, hear the word of the Lord. As I live, saith the Lord, power, surely because of my flock became a prey, and my flock became meat to every beast of the field. In other words, the other nations that we were scattered abroad around. Because there was no shepherd, neither did my shepherds search for my flock, but the shepherds fed themselves and fed not my flock, meaning they got rich off of robbing the poor and deceiving them with doctrine that has nothing to do with truth. All right, the doctrine of if you're Latino, Jesus Christos, or if you're a so-called Negro, Jesus Christ. Verse 9, therefore, O ye shepherds, hear the word of the Lord Yahweh. Thus saith the Lord power, behold, I am against the shepherds, and I will require my flock at their hand, and cause them to cease from feeding the flock. And neither shall the shepherds feed themselves any more, for I will deliver my flock from their mouth, that they may not be meat for them. And this is the point. The elect have been delivered from these false shepherds, these false pastors. All right? And now we know exactly who we are. And we've left the churches to the point where we've established the real church, so much so it got them out of business. That's all the doings in the will of the Lord. All right? And this truth is going to continue to be as it may. Jeremiah 23. And we'll begin by reading verse 3. And I will gather the remnant of my flock out of all countries, which I have driven them, and I will bring them again to their folds, and they shall be fruitful and increase. That's what's happening right now. And I will set up shepherds over them, which shall feed them, and they shall fear no more, nor be dismayed. Neither shall they be lacking, save the Lord. Right, because we're going to have the whole truth and nothing but the truth. The real understanding, the 100% understanding of the Bible. Okay? And one thing greatly that we're going to have understanding of is the fear of the Lord. Okay? And the fear of the Lord needed for nothing. And that's why we're comfortable. See, when we believed in this pseudo-Christianity, we wasn't comfortable in the belief system of that, because that is not sound doctrine. All right? Christianity has always been nothing more than a lie. It never substantiated itself. So that's all I have to read on that. Let's move forward. 2nd Ezra 6 and verse 28. As for faith, it shall flourish, and corruption shall be overcome. And the truth, which have been so long without fruit, shall be declared. Absolutely. Corruption has been overcome. And now that we see faith is flourishing, the faith in what? The faith in Yahweh Shai, rather than the faith of Chesedek Borgia, as we used to call him, Jesus Christ, which is a pseudo-God, which when you really do the history of Jesus Christ, it actually goes back to a God by the name of, which they used to worship in ancient Egypt. Not ancient Egypt, but in Egypt when Rome was in effect. Yeah, I found that it's a Greco-Egyptian god, Serapis Crispus. So that's where this idea of Jesus Christ comes from, which was known as Serapis Crispus. So that's all I got to say on this right here. I want to give all of the praises and the glory to the Most High and His Son, Yahweh Bashmi Shai Bashem Warakak Wadash, and double honors to the elder apostles of the great millstone that have taught us this truth as well. Shalom.